There were so many points in my life where I felt like I was worth nothing. Your worst is eventually going to pass. I always had to remind myself of that because I knew that there was a God who was permanent, but the season I was in was temporary. And if he is a constant, then this will pass. This too shall pass.
Life can feel like a roller coaster, but in the beauty and the chaos, if you look for it, life is full of love, joy, and kindness. Welcome to the Candace Cameron Bure podcast. We're here to share conversations about life's challenges, celebrations, and everything in between. Season 3 is Stories and Songs with Katie Nicole. Come join us.
More.
If you're a busy mom and never earned a college degree, you might feel like you missed out. And going back to school can sound really scary, but Colorado Christian University makes it possible with online classes designed for busy moms like you, with flexible undergraduate and graduate degree programs that fit your schedule. You can still be a great mom while you go back to school. Explore CCU online learning and discover more than 100 degree program options. Visit ccu.edu/Candace to learn more. Hi friends, I'm here with Katie Nicole and we are working our way through her album. And today's song is called Hold On. And I feel like there is just a lot behind this song. It is currently a single on the radio right now, so you can turn that radio on and listen to it. But man, when I hear this song, I hear someone on a roller coaster ride that is just on the downward roll, thinking, am I ever going to come back up? Or someone that is just free falling, wondering, am I going to land softly? Or someone that is on the waves of the sea and they are just hanging on for dear life.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know exactly how that feels. There have been seasons and one very recently in my life where I felt that way. And it reminds me of a verse in the Bible. It reminds me of James 1 verses 2 and 4 that says, "Consider it great joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of various kinds."
Absolutely.
Because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Yes. And let endurance take its full effect so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. And when I heard this song, I just felt like in that message, it was like, just hold on, endure, persevere, because there's something right around the corner. What is this song meant for you? I mean, what is the true meaning behind it?
It's a song that I would say is probably over the course of maybe even the last 8 or 9 years. Like, it's been a long time in the making. Truly just the story unfolding, really, for me. And I would totally agree with you on that. It's kind of like you're holding on for dear life. Like for me, I felt at many points in my life that I was hanging on by a thread. Like, it really truly felt like that thread had just been withering away. And I was going to eventually I was going to snap. And I've talked about having surgeries and the health problems that I've dealt with in my life. While that has been a struggle, I would say the mental aspect of it was much more challenging for me in that season. So from surgery 1 in 2015 to surgery 2 in 2018, there was obviously a 3-year period in between. That's a long time.
Yep.
And it truly felt like, I mean, when you think about the wilderness, like, it felt like a wilderness season for me. So incredibly dark, so incredibly hard to get through. And I was so depressed. I don't think I have ever been more depressed than I was in that season of my life. And I thank God that I've not been that depressed. I mean, I've definitely gone through seasons of depression throughout my entire life, but this one specifically stands out to me because it was the only time in my life that I truly contemplated ending it all.
Wow.
And there were not just, it wasn't one moment, it was multiple moments. But one of those moments in particular stands out to me because of how God showed up in the moment of my absolute like lowest point. I had taken a bottle of pills with me to the bathroom, and I had looked down at them and I'd said it would be that easy, because it truly was that easy. I knew what would happen to me if I took those pills. And when I went into the bathroom, I don't know what happened, but I dropped that bottle of pills onto the floor and it spilled everywhere. It was
not on purpose.
It was just, there wasn't even anything to trip over, but somehow it just was, it slipped out and it was on the floor. And that for me just led me to breaking down. But in a moment of just, it felt like complete silence. I looked at the pills on the floor and I just felt the Lord saying, hold on, I'm not done yet. It was a rush through my entire being. Like it wasn't just, like a peace. It was like a literal river of peace. And I knew that there was still more for my life. I mean, I was probably 17 years old when this happened. And I'm thinking, I have no idea what's coming next. But somehow I trust that God, you have it all figured out for me. I don't know where this is coming from. And at that time, I could recognize that was God, but I also couldn't, because I was like angry at God. I've talked about that anger. So I kind of didn't want to be like, that was God, but it was kind of undeniably God.
Right.
And so I picked up the pills and I threw them in the trash can. And every single time that I reached a place that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, I can't do this anymore, I just would remind myself of what the Lord had spoken into me. Even though that was so incredibly hard to do and so incredibly hard to see at times, that there could be something on the other side. When it feels like hope is gone and you can't find it anywhere around you, what are you holding on to? That is what it felt like. There was nothing. And again, this thread, by that point, by the end of this, like right before that second surgery, it felt like that thread was already snapped.
Yeah.
But again, deep within my spirit, there was a knowing that God had something for my life. And I can say that now. I can say that now. And I can know the reason why I hold on. But I think the one thing about this song that is just so incredibly, incredibly important is that there were so many points in my life where I felt like I was worth nothing. I felt like I was worth nothing, and I did not want to be on earth because I felt like no one could see me.
I bet, Katie, a bunch of people listening or watching this are thinking, wait, there's no way. Like where Katie is now, I'm looking at her. She's beautiful. I listen to her voice. It's amazing. How could she feel like she was nothing? Because maybe I feel that way, but Katie couldn't feel the same way that I feel. Going back to college as an adult can be really intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Colorado Christian University Online will help you find the time to take classes, do homework, and still be a great parent. How do you make time to study and keep up with a full-time job? Well, with CCU, online classes are just 5 weeks long, so you can take one class at a time and study when it works for you. CCU Online offers Christ-centered higher education with more than 100 degree program options specifically designed for busy adults. Visit ccu.edu/Candace and see how CCU can help you find a degree program that works with your schedule. CCU's unique integration of faith and learning provides a sense of purpose and fosters community. If this is something you've dreamed about, I want you to know it's possible. A degree can open new doors. Find your open door at ccu.edu/Candace. I mean, what do you say to someone like that? Because you have been in that place. How do you encourage them?
I mean, I could encourage them by saying that the sadness and the depression doesn't go away in life. But it gets smaller and smaller as you go through life. You know, your worst is eventually going to pass. Like, it's not forever. This is a temporary feeling. I always had to remind myself of that because I knew that there was a God who was permanent, but the season I was in was temporary. And if he is a constant, then this will pass. This too shall pass. And I know what my God can do from this season of my life. And I mean, again, just the little things that God does, those are worth seeing. Those are worth seeking out. And I found that my greatest piece of encouragement that somebody else gave me was that you don't want to take the easy way out because God still has something left for you. And if you do, you won't be able to complete the mission he has on this earth for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that? You know, I was curious. I think there was a curiosity to me, but I just want to remind people that God has a purpose and a plan for your life.
Yeah.
So much greater than maybe what you think it is.
Yeah.
And so if you don't hold on, you'll never be able to see that. You'll never be able to experience that with God. And I mean, I think it's such a hard thing because I also know what it's like to just want to go. Like, it's just, I don't want to stay here because it hurts too bad.
Yeah.
It hurts more than anything I've ever experienced before. And so sitting in that pain, it's really hard to ever see outside of that pain.
Yeah.
But what I know is that hope isn't gone just because you can't see it, because hope is in Jesus.
Yep.
I think that is my encouragement for the person that's listening and for the person that thinks maybe that they feel alone in it. They feel like this is just me. And I want to remind you that it's not. There are so many of us that are dealing with depression and so many of us dealing with anxiety. The amount of mental health struggles, like, we're living in a very broken world. There's a reason why we're feeling this way. It's because it's an aching in our spirit, truly, is what I believe.
Yeah, I do too.
It is more than just a sadness. It is a full body like experience of knowing that things are not going right around you, or they're not going right in your own life. And it's like, it's just so hard because, again, I know what it's like, but I also know I don't ever want to sit in it.
Yeah.
I know that I don't want to experience it that way. That's why I turned to a prayer journal when I really started having like what I felt like was a true relationship with God. I started writing things down. I started jotting things down in a prayer journal. But the first thing I actually do is I write down what I'm feeling in just a regular journal. It's just a journal. I put my feelings down. I put what I mean, you know, these feelings are valid and
absolutely
they're real. So I have to acknowledge them.
Yep.
But once I've acknowledged them, instead of staying there, I go to my prayer journal and I say, God, I surrender these feelings and these emotions to you because this does not come from you. Fear does not come from you. Anxiety does not come from you. Depression does not come from you. And I rebuke that. In the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Because you are the only one who has the power to take these feelings off of this weight that I'm carrying. I wasn't meant to carry. You have the power to take that off of my chest. And you will. I know that you will. I acknowledge that I know that he's going to do it because I do. And that's a true faith. That's a belief in God. And knowing that you trust him is one of the greatest feelings. And I really reached that place when I came to the other side of my pain.
Yeah.
And so I know that the person listening to this will come to the other side of their pain, but they have to persevere. You can't get to the other side if you don't persevere, if you don't stay on this path that God has right now where you are. He's going to meet you there.
Yep.
He met me there and he's going to meet you there.
Yeah. He's met me there too. And he will meet you there. We're going to link that verse in the show notes, James 1, verses 2 and 4. So you can go back and be reminded of that verse to persevere and endure until you are mature and complete, lacking nothing, because God's got so much more for you. So just hold on a little bit longer. Katie, thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for being so vulnerable with us today. Life can be messy and confusing, but we get to go through these ups and downs together. and the right soundtrack can make a difference. Katie also has a music video for Hold On, which is a powerful illustration of this story. We'll link it for you in the show notes. And we also have something special for you this season. Katie and I made a playlist, so just go to Candace.com. We've got the link to all the music from these episodes, plus extra songs Katie and I picked out that we hope you'll love. Go to Candace.com to find the link, and it's in our show notes. Until next time, be grateful all day, every day. Friends, I'm so glad you're here. Life is like a roller coaster, but if today's conversations made it just a little better, comment below and tell me how. Candy Rock Entertainment, all rights reserved.